Right now, somewhere in Madrid, two youthful females are heating for the most critical clash of their existences, and nearly zero humans think they can conquer it. Today is Saturday, April 25, 2026, and the red earth of the Madrid Open is not just a rear picture, it is a platform. And what is about to unfold on Court 7 at 5:20 p.m. native time is the variety of narrative that forces you to recall why you fell for this sport in the opening spot. This is not a heating match. This is not a minor note on the competition sheet. This is a second rotation ladies doubles crash that has every serious tennis intellect leaning ahead in their chair. On one side of the mesh, you have the unseeded pairing of the Philippines' Alexandra Eala, just 20 winters old, and her companion Zeynep Sönmez of Turkey. On the other side, waiting for them are the number 2 seeds, the defending champions of the California desert, multiple-time Grand Slam trophy holders, Taylor Townsend of the United States and Kateřina Siniaková of Czechia. If you are just catching up with the clay court season, let me give you precisely what you need to grasp why this exact match is creating buzz across the whole tennis world. Eala and Sönmez were not exactly the labels circled in bold on anyone's prediction sheets before the tournament began. Sönmez carries a doubles ranking of 498. Eala, though very much a competitor on the ascent, sits at 101. On document, this looks like a wrong fit, but tennis is not played on document. 2 days ago in the opening rotation, these two walked out onto that clay court and tore apart the far more seasoned pairing of Fanny Stolar and Xu Zhang in a manner that turned heads. After dropping the first 2 games, something clicked. They rattled off 6 straight games, converted 3 of 3 break chances, and took the first set. The second set was not even close, 6-2 with a dominant 4-game stretch to open it. Final numbers, 6-2, 6-2 in just over 1 hour. That was not fortune, that was a declaration. But here is where the tale gets layered, because just yesterday, under that same Spanish sun, Alexandra Eala walked into the singles draw and ran directly into a barrier. Belgium's Elise Mertens, world number 21, ironically one of the greatest doubles players alive, showed no mercy, dispatching Eala 6-2, 6-1 in the round of 64. It was clinical, it was swift, and for Eala it stings, especially because it marks her 3rd consecutive early singles exit on clay this season following losses in Linz and Stuttgart. That kind of loss does something to a fighter. It either deflates them fully or it lights a flame that refuses to die out. And everything we know about Alexandra Eala tells us it is the second option. She is still in this tournament, she is still battling. And every ounce of that singles frustration is going to come pouring out in this doubles match. That right there is what makes an adversary dangerous. So who exactly are they walking into today? If you sat down in a laboratory and engineered the flawless modern doubles team, you might end up with something that looks a lot like Taylor Townsend and Kateřina Siniaková. Last month in Indian Wells, they captured the WTA 1000 title, and they did it the difficult way, grinding through a punishing bracket under intense force. Townsend famously missed her son Aiden's 5th birthday to compete in and win the final. Think about that for a second. That is not a player who shows up to coast. That is a fighter with a blaze in her chest that does not go out. Siniakova is a 10-time major doubles champion. She does not simply react to the ball at the mesh. She reads the body language of the human hitting it: hip angle, shoulder rotation, racket face. She processes all of it in a fraction of a second and hunts before her opponent even realizes what happened. Townsend, meanwhile, brings a deadly left-handed game that is built to dominate. Her serve on the ad side drags opponents wide into the doubles alley, exposing the center of the court for Siniakova to pick off the return. Her hands at the mesh are dangerously soft. She absorbs speed and redirects it with a disguise that looks almost unfair. Together, they are not just a good team. They are historically good, and yet Eala and Sönmez are not without weapons of their own. The height of Madrid is the first and most important factor to understand here. At over 600 meters above sea level, the air is thinner, the ball moves faster, and when it hits the dry, baked clay, it kicks up higher and quicker than most clay environments on the tour. Madrid does not play like Roland Garros. It does not play like Rome. It plays almost like a fast, hard court draped in red dust, and that difference matters enormously for the underdogs. On slow clay, Eala and Sönmez would struggle to hit through the champion's defenses. But in Madrid's height, if Eala steps inside the baseline and drives the ball early, she can actually take time away from Siniakova at the mesh, compress the point before the defense has time to set. Her compact swing is built for that, and Zeynep Sönmez is the critical variable here. Ranked nearly 500 in doubles, Townsend and Siniakova have virtually no film on her. She is an unknown. Her job today is to be relentlessly steady. Heavy, deep returns aimed at the feet of the incoming server. Nothing floating over the mesh for Siniakova to put away. Sönmez will also need to use the lob intelligently, force the champions back from the mesh, turn this into a baseline exchange where youth and legs become a factor. That is the roadmap. It is a narrow one, but it exists. Tactically, expect Townsend and Siniakova to deploy the I formation and the Australian formation throughout this match. The I formation in particular puts Siniakova straddling the center service line, crouching low, and neither Eala nor Sönmez knows whether she will pop left or right. It creates chaos in the mind of the returner, pressing them into the absolute extremes of the court. Trying to thread needle-passing shots against that formation is how mistakes compound and sets slip away. The correct response is down the middle, low, flat, unattackable. The temptation will be to go for the big shot early. The discipline will be to resist it. Psychologically, this match creates a fascinating reversal of pressure. Townsend and Siniakova are expected to win this comfortably, efficiently, without drama. If this match turns into a battle in the first 4 games, if the unseeded pair breaks serve just as they did in round 1, the weight shifts instantly. Experienced teams sometimes tighten when an easy match refuses to be easy. Meanwhile, Eala and Sönmez have already cashed a check, over $31,000 in prize money secured, 90 ranking points in the bank, and not a single analyst expecting them to win. That is a remarkably free place to stand. No pressure, no consequence, just tennis. A wounded fighter with nothing to lose is not just dangerous, she is unpredictable. There is also a physical dimension worth watching. Siniakova has a documented history of leg trouble, worn down by the brutal demands of competing deep into both singles and doubles draws simultaneously. If Eala and Sönmez can stretch the match, can make it long and physical, can turn it into a baseline grind rather than a sharp mesh exchange, they might find an opening in the later stages of the second set. It is a long shot, but long shots occasionally land. So when all of it is stripped back, the tale, the emotion, the height, the tactical chess, what is actually going to happen at 5:20 p.m.? Honestly, Townsend and Siniakova win this. The talent gap is real. Their ability to shift gears between defense and offense in an instant, their experience in high-leverage moments, and the sheer volume of answers they carry into any match situation make them prohibitive favorites. I expect the first set to be competitive, maybe even a trade of breaks in the early games with Eala swinging freely and the Madrid crowd loving every minute of it. But once the champions settle into their return timing and lock down the mesh, the margin of error for the underdogs shrinks to almost nothing. My prediction, Townsend and Siniakova in straight sets, somewhere in the range of 6-4, 6-2. But here is what I want you to understand about Alexandra Eala walking off that court today. Whether the score line is close or not, she is going to feel exactly what it means to compete at the highest level of professional doubles. The speed, the pressure, the suffocating mesh presence of a 10-time major champion. She will carry that experience to Rome next month, where the heavier clay suits her baseline game even better, and she will carry the sting of yesterday's singles loss and the fire of today's battle all the way into the summer season. This Madrid trip is not a detour. It is a chapter in a story that is just getting started. For Townsend and Siniakova, a commanding win today is not a statement, it is simply the next step. They are using this clay swing to sharpen their chemistry, test their formations, and send a quiet, confident message to the rest of the locker room. Indian Wells was just the beginning. Roland Garros is the destination. Every match they play between now and Paris is a rehearsal, and today's rehearsal will be masterful. Court 7, 5:20 p.m. millimeters in split seconds. That is what elite tennis comes down to, and that is what we get to watch today. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the height and the fearless energy of Eala and Sönmez give them any real shot at pulling off the upset? Or are Townsend and Siniakova simply operating on a different level entirely right now? Drop your score predictions and your tactical takes in the comments below. I read every single one, and I genuinely love when the debates get going. If this breakdown hit differently and you want more of this during the clay court season, Madrid, Rome, all the way through the French Open, hit that like button and make sure you are subscribed. We are going deep on every major storyline between now and Paris, and you do not want to miss a single one. Until the next video, strings tight, footwork sharp, and enjoy every point.